Matt Lawrence of HopkinsSports.com here inside of Goldfarb Gymnasium. I'm joined by new old head coach Matt Troy of the Johns Hopkins women's volleyball team. Matt, in his first year back to Homewood after coaching the last 6 seasons down at Mary Washington, taking over a program that's won each of the last 3 Centennial Conference tournament championships. Matt, let's just start talking a little bit about the preseason, your first preseason with these new Blue Jays. How's the team looking, and how's the preseason gone leading up to the opening weekend?
The preseason has been extremely productive, and we have been able to work on a lot of new things, but I think ultimately too we realize that our philosophies and techniques are very similar to what they have had before, so I don't feel like they've had to change a ton, but there are certainly some new things that they're adjusting to. But it's been a good preseason so far.
Taking a look at the team, you inherit 2 real superstars in Simone Bliss and Lulu Kishton, 2 All-Americans from a season ago. Also get Natalie Aston back at the setter position. When you look at some of the experience that you have, especially on the outside with Simone and Lulu, that really has to excite you moving into this year.
Yes, for sure. Simone and Lulu certainly bring a lot of tools to their toolbox and what they can do, and having Natalie in the gym where she can set so many different tempos, and she's just an overall fantastic player. And then you team that up with the experience of the team as a whole. We're not really having to focus a ton on fundamentals. We're really working on strategy and how we want to attack teams and also defend against different systems. So we've been able to advance ourselves pretty quickly in the preseason. So I feel like that puts us in a great place going into this first weekend.
Take a look at the schedule. You guys challenge yourselves in the non-conference once again, something that's a bit of a staple with this program. Start this weekend by heading up to Hoboken for 3 matches to open the season. What kind of experience do you hope to get out of this non-conference schedule that you hope will translate down the road once you get to Centennial Conference tournament time and hopefully NCAA tournament time as well?
We want to put ourselves in a position, because the Centennial Conference is tough and we have teams, like F&M and SWAT and Gettysburg, McDaniel, and, even the ones beyond that, that will challenge us. And so we want to figure out what we need to do well going into the conference tournament. And then at the same token, we also want to see and put ourselves in a position that, depending on how things go, that we have that opportunity for an at-large, based off of, potentially the tournament results.
I mentioned at the top of this interview, you coached back here in Hopkins back in the early 2010s and, spent the last 6 seasons down at Mary Washington. When you take a look at the Centennial Conference, what changes or similarities do you see from when you were back here in your first stint to 7 years later now when you look across the conference landscape?
Well, you certainly have some of the same coaches from the time I was here. You have Leah at Gettysburg, and then, of course, Mary Kate over at F&M, and then also Harley at Swath, and those were always great rivalries. And then you have some new people coming in as well this year. I think there's 3 new coaches in the conference, so I think those are going to be similarities and differences. You got to learn those new coaches' styles and what they like to bring to the table. But then at the same token, you have those coaches that we've competed against for a long time, and then even out of conference, we've played some of those teams when I was at Mary Washington. So great coaches in the conference, really good people overall. So I'm excited to be back with the group.
3 straight conference tournament championships, 3 straight trips to the NCAA tournament for this program. When we look back on this season in November, if this team is going to get to that point once again, what is maybe one key that's going to need to stay with this team through the year if we're going to be successful at the end of the season?
Biggest keys being where we're going to be able to stay healthy. And, we do have a small roster, looking about 10 bodies for this year. And so we have to be very cognizant of how we're practicing, being very honest and open with how we're feeling physically, mentally, just so we can tailor the season to be able to go for a long period of time. So if we can stay healthy, I like our chances. But I think that'll be the biggest key for us.
This has been head coach Matt Troy of the Johns Hopkins volleyball team. The Blue Jays get the 2019 season underway this weekend when they travel to Hoboken. They'll take on Milliken Friday night at 6 p.m. Matt, thanks for your time. Best of luck this season.
Thank you.